Hello everyone, it's another Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brands. Always I have my colleagues here. YK in the building! Your first time on the show this year.
Yes, Happy New Year to everybody, our viewers. Happy New Year.
You obviously had a fantastic holiday. Go ahead, please pray for us.
May this year bring us all the good things of life.
Amen. How's your creator doing?
Yes.
How's your creator?
I believe it's your creator too. It's fine. I have 2 G's.
Okay.
I did not know that Bishop used to play love. So I had dinner. It was Theo's sister's birthday, and you know we just had a dinner at that place that you took us to, VI, and then. The bishop came. I won't say his name. Him and his wife were just playing love. I say, oh. I didn't know that bishop used to play love.
Maybe they don't play love in church.
The wife even looked all loved out, man.
Blushing all the way. Are you serious? I'm sure they don't do that in church.
I'm serious.
Church members will be thinking that mommy and daddy don't do these things. We need more of that in public.
Yes,
so that people know that.
So I didn't mention his name, Bishop. See, I didn't mention your name.
We just know Bishop. The Bishop that I had dinner with YK during the holidays is the Bishop. We go and research it.
Yes, and my next gist is I've got my voters card.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. I'm going to go and get my own. Look at me.
Yes, so
yes.
Now
I even got a call that mine is ready. It's just to go and pick it up. So I'm going to. Yeah, because I went there several times. So the woman took my number and said that once she gets it, she'd let me know. So I was able to, I got her number.
So even I'm the first to get my own?
Oh, well, congratulations to you. I noticed that they said mine would be at, like, I think Ikusi High School or something. So I'd have to go to the place to
okay, I registered because normally during the elections, Theo and I are together because, you know, it's holiday. So I registered, I got my Etiosa. And very simple, like not queue, nothing, just film.
So people, everyone the same, you go in, you pick it up. Because we've been hearing lots of...
And the lady there...
Mine was quite... They didn't find it. I had issues with mine, so I had to tell the woman, please, can I take your number? So I now... So me and the woman are starting to get yours.
The lady there, Madame Fume, she
very
was
nice.
really
They've been very pleasant. I have my uncle who went to pick up. They said they were very nice and polite. So just go there,
so people should pick up. Not last minute. I will go and sort mine.
So I picked up my task card.
Hi, Tokwe, how are you? Anything?
Good.
Looking like a cow.
Black and white. Okay, like, oh yeah, the colors.
Oh well. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, it's Murayo. Murayo can't say anything.
You better be sorry. If you had said that to me, I'll be so offended.
I didn't mean it like that.
But
the patterns on your outfit reminded me of a foreign cow. But I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to say you look like a cow.
I didn't take it as an insult.
I know you did. I know you can never. It's YK that is taking it on your behalf. And Mariam taking it on your behalf. Thank you, Jerry. I understand.
I don't know what to say after that.
So my kids resumed school today. One person was like, I'm so happy to be back in school. The second person was like, not really. Not really. Not really. I was like, what's going on? Like, so, you know, but I think that it's a good way to know kids like their school when they're excited to get back into school. Because even as he was saying, not really, as he got down, he just ran into class.
I was going to say that for some people, it just takes them time to adjust to change. So for my son, once he's out of a particular area, it takes him some time to get back into the place. And that's how I am. So I understand it. He didn't feel like going back. I'm fine. I'm okay. I was just taking a, you know, like an account of what I did with my time last year. And man, I worked hard.
Yes, you did.
I worked really hard. I worked really hard. And, you know, I also realized I was stressed. And every time, you know, I was told, maybe in the hospital or my mom would mention it, that I was stressed. I was like, from where? Where did it come from? But because you do what you do and you get up and you do it, you don't realize it. And it has negative effects on your health. That's just the truth. And sometimes your mental health. So I would like for people to take account, just stop and take account that some of these things that you think you're just doing, you're just walking around, it can be really stressful, and it's time to take a step back and relax.
On that note, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Why Nigerians should vote Tinubu Shetima by Buhari. Withdrawal policy pushes up POS transaction charges. Polls threatened INEC warns. 7,000 nurses begin strike in New York City. Ex-Lagos Borno governors trustworthy. Made in Nigerian helicopter for inauguration before May 29th. Kidnappers demand 620 million naira for the 31 victims of Edo train attack. Sylvia seeks CBN special fund for modular refineries. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Major headline.
Yes.
So at the Muhammadu Buhari Square in Adamawa State, our president raised the hands of the presidential aspirant candidate for APC, Ashwadi Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and asked the people of Adamawa to vote for him, as well as the female contestant, our only female contestant, gubernatorial contestant, and she's as well. So his statement was, he gave thanks to the people of because it was a very massive, well-attended campaign, and he mentioned that he was thanking them for coming out and appealed to them that I want you to vote for them massively, retain the party in power at the center, and also return Adamawa to the ranks of progressives. And he said he wanted them to buy into the message of renewed hope. He also campaigned for the gubernatorial candidate for Adamawa State, saying that that he wanted the men, the women, and the youth of Adamawa State to vote for Senator Aisha Ahmed Binani, and saying that she's had a track record over the years of duty and service, and she would improve the livelihood of the citizens of the state. And wouldn't Adamawa want to be the first state to vote a female governor? I want to interview.
Yes,
I really would love
so
to.
It would be great to speak to her.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the. Go ahead, let me let you go.
Okay,
Sure
so this is not Nigerian story. This is in New York. They said 7,000 of their nurses started a strike, and this has to do with their grievances, is that their salary and the fact that nurses' positions, they wanted even more nurses' positions. They had a meeting with the management side and the hospital side, and they couldn't come to an agreement. And they said that the strike led to a lot of, chaos, that they had to ask doctors to step into some of the nurses' role. They had to stop some services, some ambulance services were stopped. And for me, I just find it interesting that
strike is happening.
Yes, how do we call them? What do we call them? Civilized?
The
developed world is going through the same issue. So obviously, it seems that there's a global, for me, when I see things like this, I feel like there's a global change that's about to happen. Yeah. And they have to sit down and talk again, and the economics of the world is changing.
They would never tell us, oh, there are issues in their countries. They just say, like that country. They never remind us that they also have the same issues. Anyways, our president, no, not our president, the executive vice chairman and chief executive officer of NASENI, that's the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna, yesterday said that they are going to be establishing 3 industrial parks across Nigeria. They're going to have in Nnewi in Anambra State, Oshogbo, Osun State, and in Igabi, Kaduna State. Now, these industrial parks will be automotive sectors in the 3 zones, and they're going to be the establishment of the very first helicopter in Nigeria. The agency said that they will inaugurate made in Nigeria helicopters in Kaduna before the president leaves office May 29th. Well, we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty excited because even the governor of Kaduna State was able to give them 50 hectares of land and to be able to create this industrial park and across the country. And I'm really happy about that. That's good news in Osun State and Nnewi in Anambra State. Any other story in Nation? Let's move on quickly now. You have a story in Nation?
No, just the INEC have warned about the polls that they might be postponed or cancelled. They're just saying in some flashpoint areas that
insecurity. Insecurity here.
Yeah, the insecurity may cause. So we should start. Working towards securing the nation so that the elections can hold.
Okay, moving on quickly to the Punch. Cash limits, customers protest as banks begin enforcement. Picture here of how Yoruba Nation protesters converged at 3 a.m. Members killed. Pastor raped my daughter for 3 years, says mother.
Oh my
Protesting police students block Ibadan roads. Governors intervenes. DSS director's wife orders Kano governor candidates arrested. Dr. C, UK police deepen probe controversy surrounding airport incident. Government demands 620 million naira ransom for abducted train passengers. And scarcity, FG orders NNPC to reduce petrol price. Okay, which story are we starting with? I can start with the Yoruba Nation. Which one?
Oh, no, I was going to start with the DSS's
Go ahead.
Wife. Well, apparently there was this in the NNPP candidate, gubernatorial candidate, was going had landed the Aminu Kano airport, and then his motorcade was causing traffic, and she was coming in her own motorcade behind, and she was like, what is causing this traffic? So, of course, there was an altercation. Everybody started gabbing them. Everybody was showing power. Well, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's how she now said that they should arrest
Gaga.
the gubernator. His name is Abba Yusuf. So he was arrested. When they called the spokespeople of the NNPP, the guy didn't pick up his phone was off. Yeah. But the DSS said, oh, yes, that there was an arrest, but because it was a breach of peace and a breach of security. And he has been kept in custody. So we are not sure whether it was the DSS wife or showing power or well, he's in custody, Sha.
Okay, so let me talk about what happened yesterday in Ojota. So according to reports from Punch, Yoruba Nation agitators had come to Ojota about 3 a.m. in the various buses, and nobody knew what was going on until about 7, 8 a.m. where they started coming out to protest. According to bystanders and a tricycle driver saying that there was a woman police specifically who was not dressed in police uniform who got a call, and it was after she got that call, she then instructed the police to disperse the protesters with tear gas. According to the reports, also the protesters had kerosene wrapped around their maybe used to cover their eyes so they couldn't the tear gases wasn't affecting them. Then also said that the bullets couldn't penetrate. I'm not sure what that means. Said that the policemen's bullets couldn't penetrate, but at some point, 2 of the protesters actually got killed. And the police is saying that their own men were also attacked. About 2 of them were taken to the hospital because they had cutlasses, they were macheted, and also shot at. There are various questions that have been, the investigation is ongoing to know exactly what happened. Some are asking that the protesters get approval to protest. You know how when you want to protest, you have to get some kind of security or inform the police or the authorities they're going to protest. That's one. Well, at what point did the police start attacking? Was there did the protesters fire at the police? So these are questions we need to investigate and find out what happened, that caused the death of 2 people at that protest, and we hope that the investigations can come soon and we can know exactly what happened.
Okay, so on your headline, cash limits. So customers have now, it started yesterday, where customers cannot withdraw above a specific limit without paying fines. Before, it was meant to be 100,000 for individuals and 500,000 for corporate organizations, but it was reviewed to 500,000 for individuals and 5 million naira to corporate organizations based on pressure. But the CBNs, the people went to the bank and they are complaining that for companies that do a cash-based business, this is really affecting them. They said that they face severe opposition from banks, that there are long queues within the banking hall because people did not understand why their withdrawal should cost them additional money to execute. So Punch interviewed a few customers and there were complaints from some people. Some felt like they mentioned their banks are so IT forward that they've always been cashless, but that they feel bad for people whose business is cash dependent and who are not in developed areas, who would have to be spending more money to access cash that they need. So, but this is the CBN is not going to change the policy anytime soon, and we're waiting to see how that will pan out. Also, there were complaints that CBN has not put in new notes at the ATMs, but Punch visited several of them and confirmed that CBN said they've put in new notes. Punch visited banks and they confirmed that they were still dispensing old notes.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Here's a story.
Yes, so we had heard a few days ago that Chief Dr. C was arrested at Heathrow Airport on Sunday, and then after a few hours, he was let go. And further information is that he was arrested on allegation of rape that happened in August 2019. And there was an email sent by the Punch to the Met Police, and they said that there's a 71-year-old man that's being investigated over the case of alleged rape in 2019, but it's not in their, style to give the person's name until they've been properly charged. They say yes, he's been arrested and investigations are going on, and so he was in the UK at the same time as the flag bearer for for the PDP. Atiku Abubakar has just been invited to come and speak in the UK, just as Peter Obi and Asiwaju were invited. And so he was, in the same group of people who had traveled there when this arrest was made.
I'm quite pained about this, these pastors that raped the daughter. So what happened was that the witness, the pastor's name is Pastor Chris McDouglas. McDouglas. McDouglas, yes, Chris McDouglas. He actually allegedly raped a 70-year-old girl from 2017 to 2020. The case came up in court, and the Director of Public Prosecutions, Dr. Babajide, was telling the court that this man had always taken the child out, saying he's taken her for gospel ministrations. The mother actually said that the pastor used to come to her house and say we're taking the daughter for choir practice or to come and learn how to minister, not knowing that.
And she got moody, the girl got moody.
The girl really got
How old was it?
17 years old.
Oh. She's 17. That means it started when she was 14. She's 17 now.
Yeah.
And for the past 3 years.
Because she's been doing it for 3 years.
I need to mention the name of the church.
When they confronted him, he said, "Oh, that it was the
name
devil."
Of the pastor.
Yeah.
It was
As
the
usual,
devil.
it was the devil that.
I did it as usual.
So, but luckily, I think the mother had taped his confession.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's her own evidence.
Against
How smart.
Because now he's saying
Denying it.
Because he actually said not guilty, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why the evidence comes into play. Daily Sun, INEC fears selection shift over insecurity. Atiku Campaign Council dismisses allegation of money laundering. One dead policeman shot as Yoruba Nation rally turns bloody in Lagos. I will be responsible as president, says Peter Obi. Wike explains anger with PDP. Fuel importation to end by 2024, says federal government. And appeal court president warns election tribunals members vow to deal with anyone found wanting. Okay, which story are we doing in
So
Daily Sun?
Atiku's campaign for his is responding to an allegation by his former former media aide called Michael Achimogu. Achimogu was appointed media director for the Atiku Support Organization, and this was done in 2021. But then he released a video on his YouTube channel that alleges that Atiku was mentioned that some of the monies that were gotten, by corrupt means. He found a way to channel them through what they call special purpose vehicles. So these are companies that, these are shell companies, in order to hide the fact that these monies that have come in and were not gotten by legal means. And the Atiku campaign team is responding to it. He's saying it's just lies, and that it was specifically Dino Melaye that was speaking on behalf of the Atiku Abubakar, saying that he doesn't even have time to talk to all these small 419 Yahoo boys. He has, there's no truth to what he said, and also there's nowhere where this Achimogu was appointed media aide. Anyway, in response to that, Achimogu posted copies of his 2021 appointment letter by the Atiku's, as Atiku's media aide. So I guess we would see further. We'll hear further where this goes.
More on politics, Peter Obi was in Delta State. He's saying that he will be responsible as president. He told the people, and I think Deacon Chris Yowaye, popular industrially, also assured his members who also came to support. It was a town hall meeting they had in Delta State. He said no tribe buys bread cheaper, no religion buys bread cheaper. He said he's going to urge supporters to vote the candidate and make, because he has the capacity to lead. He also said they would make education work, no more strike in all the public facilities. They will ensure that there is law and order, no more harassment by police, because they would train them to work. He said they are friends and not our enemies. And they also promised that the Warri ports would work once he becomes president.
And Wike has said that he's angry with PDP because where they chose the president, what do you call it?
The chairman, the Ayu, Senator Ayu.
No, it says the election was fraught with fraudulence.
Yes.
It says that if it's not that he loves PDP, he would have taken PDP to court, but he loves the party.
Any other story in son? Let's move on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Which story is catching our attention? Security threat to next election real, says INEC. Fuel importation to end by 2024, says federal government. New Naira notes now in ATM as cash withdrawal limits take off. Why we queried Ebira, traditional ruler, says COVID government. 13.1 billion Naira bid for forfeited Ikoyi property fails. Hajj, Saudi confirms 95,000 slots for Nigeria. Gunmen kidnap customary court present in Edo. 6 string kidnap victims rescued.
Federal government is projecting that by 2024, its first quarter, Nigeria will put an end to the importation of petroleum products into the country. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, said that because of the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery will be partly completed at that time, while also the 650,000 barrel per day capacity Dangote refinery will also be on stream, and also modular refineries would have taken off. So all these put together would be able to, take care of our supply and demand needs in the country. So
that's great news. So I mean, once they
this is just permutation.
Well, we're projecting.
We're projecting based on non-government policies, but individual, private organizations with the hope that they actually work out. I want to take the story of the 13 billion. We are optimistic, Morayo. I am a fellow optimist. I have businesses in Nigeria. Nigeria must work. So the EFCC has been working, and in the paper here, the secretary to the commission applauds the head of the commission for his transparency and his bid to be even more transparent in the bid to sell forfeited property. So they have some properties in Lekki, Banana Island, a block of flat, 24-unit luxury flat that was seized. And they were trying to sell this at auction. And there's supposed to be like a closed bid where everyone would bid for this 13.1 billion Naira property. And they're supposed to drop 10%. But the only person who placed a bid on this property did not drop the 10%. And that's why the person's bid could not go. They had also lot 2 and lot 3 other properties as well that they didn't get enough bid for.
What's that kind of money?
So if anybody, I said it in my Instagram live yesterday, teaching that opportunities will come in 2023, that only people who have saved or have access to cash can take advantage. This is a good business opportunity that only those that have cash should take advantage and bid. This is transparent. Don't go and complain that EFCC is selling property without you being knowing. Now you can join the
Who are these people that have this cash?
Okay, we have to.
We will join them very soon.
That's what we can take on front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Electricity distribution companies have quietly increased the tariff payable by power consumers across the country. Although most of the DisCos did not make this public, electricity users have kicked against the move, describing it as perfect robbery amidst the harsh economic realities in Nigeria. Joining us on the show is a spokesman for the DisCos, Otumba Sunday Odunton. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning and Happy New Year.
So you can join the conversation, call us on 081-270-53687. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweets. Otumba, let's bring this to home conversation. But we heard that you people connived together to increase tariff without letting us, the people, know. Is it true?
The last time I checked, the ladies on YourView, like this morning, I met YK, sitting down in her car, reading newspaper, doing research. I always thought that YourView ladies are always on top of their game, doing research. When they read the very bogus headline saying, DisCos have increased electricity secretly, consumers kick. One leading newspaper in Nigeria was the first to do that. A respectable newspaper, I won't mention the name of that newspaper, but I'm sure the editor can hear me. They don't do research, they don't even read, and they are publishing. DisCos has not increased any tariff. Now, DisCos don't even increase tariff. Go back to our program on this same platform. When I explained that the job of increasing tariff is that of review tariff, not even increase, whether upward or downward, is that of our regulator. And we must even commend them. They are doing a very difficult job. Let me explain to you why I said DisCos did not increase any tariff this January. What happened? Since last year, there was what we call MITO 2022, multi-year tariff order, issued by the regulator on the 1st of January 2022. It was published on their website from the 4th of May 2022, where they listed there clearly what all of us in the country will be paying for the next 5 years until 2026. I have it here, I will show you everything, all the DisCos. So you know even in advance what you might pay, and it has been explained many times that there will be review every 6 months.
Wow. And
once they set those things, it will kick in automatically. So what you saw, all those things, is as a result of the December review, that is automatically there, not us, and not them just doing anything secretly. This was done after public consultation. All the approval were done before it was published on the 4th of May 2022. So we were surprised when people started. You see that even the ministers deny any knowledge of increase, because what was agreed, that tariff plan, we call it MITO 2022, is a 5-year tariff path. Yeah. Okay, 5 years, 2026. Oh. And they'll be doing review every 6 months because they have to look at the realities of our economy. You cannot isolate the DisCos from what is going on in the country. You have to look at inflation. I've said it before on this program, minimum of 70% of the equipment used in the power sector are imported. So forex is important, inflation is important. If Naira suddenly become 200 Naira to $1 or 100 Naira to $1, the cost of electricity will come down immediately. It's automatic. But if it keeps going up, when they do the review, they have to do it and look at those indices. That is what we all need to understand. It's not something that happened suddenly and was not done secretly.
Okay. So NEC and MITO 2022 tariff path.
Yes.
So for me, it has answered a lot of the questions because we are here with our boxing gloves.
I'm ready.
Okay. But this has explained that there has been something that's been put in place, a 5-year plan. Please, just remind us, you know we can be very forgetful in Nigeria. When this path was put together, and who were the people that sat down as stakeholders to determine how you, every 6 months, increase, because the tariff path looks like it's going to be on a constant increase. That we all agreed as Nigerians that every 6 months, people will be increasing our tariffs for us.
Though.
When? Please remind us. Remind us. And who are the?
Thank you. We the people.
Which people?
We.
Is that what she's asking?
Tell us. Let me explain.
Please explain.
when they hold public consultation, I'm not a spokesman for NAC, but we should be fair on them. In fact, we should commend them. They are doing a very difficult job, the job of maintaining the balance between what Nigerians need to pay and how to ensure that the power sector does not collapse. So the interest of the consumers as against that of the operators in ensuring that they are able to sustain the business commercially, or else everything will go down. Now, when they hold public consultation, it is public. They made it public. They went everywhere. Here in Kenya, they did. And they invited all stakeholders. I was there, NBA was there, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria was there, a lot of
civil society,
plenty were there. They asked questions, and they even showed them, in some cases, the tariff will come down as we go along the line. And they explained to them what we call PIP, Performance Improvement Plan, which of course are the guidelines for improved DisCos performance and the market remittance obligation. I've said it before, you know, DisCos collect money from you, they remit to the market. And for those of you, people in Magodo, they know themselves. They have good electricity, and I'm looking at you, madam. In your own case, you're on band A. You are getting more than YK, for instance. But in fact, because you are getting more, you should be paying more than her. And that's what is going on. In fact, it's only people in band A and B that are mostly affected. And if you give you more electricity and you get more, you'll be paying more. Even your producer had confirmed to me that indeed electricity has improved in his area. And I said, thank you.
Yeah, I see.
Once you have improvement, get ready to pay.
That's the only reason why I understand you. Because I remember when there was no electricity at all, many Nigerians were saying, just give us this thing, we will pay.
No matter how much.
No matter how much, because we know that even abroad, they'll be telling you, turn off the light, because, hey, I don't want electricity. Everybody's watching how they turn on electricity, because electricity anywhere in the world is expensive. So Nigerians have said, give us, we will pay.
And
but what we don't want
to pay
is you not telling us about this MITO 2022 when Nigerians are not aware that every 6 months, so...
You forgot.
No, we didn't forget. Coming off with
so you want me to be telling you every 6 months?
Yes.
Please, let's make a deal. Every 6 months, invite me here.
So
I'll come here to inform you. He's coming tomorrow. He's coming next week.
Look, like,
I'll do that.
We have said that we will pay if you give us lights.
Yes.
But you have not given us light fully.
For those that don't have lights.
Yenny.
Wait,
speak for yourself.
And we are not increasing the tariff of those that
I know how much diesel I'm buying now. Whether it is Shrine, whether it is my house, I know how much diesel I buy weekly. In fact, the diesel supplier gave me a bag of rice.
Because you're such a good customer.
Yes,
you were such a good customer.
Because I was such a good customer, in fact.
You give me 2 bags of rice.
A bag of rice.
Yenny Kuti, we are coming to you.
You've been saying that for how many years?
It's gradually.
We are coming to you.
We are buying diesel. It's not those diesel. I just bought turbo charger, turbo something for generator, 125, January 2nd.
I understand.
So you're having this kind of bills. If we had constant NEPA, you can even forget that you have generator.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Just that they do forget they have generator in Magodo.
What? This
Magodo now. It's only Magodo now.
I'm just saying,
of us are still using our
example. We don't forget that we have...
mention of that area.
Let me go and break.
I'm in Lagos. Let me do Lagos first, and I'll do other towns. Shoniba Estate, Ikeja GRA, Magodo, offices.
Right? She is in Magodo.
Omole, phase 1, phase 2, right? That's Lagos.
Highbrow areas.
Abuja.
Yeah, the ones I've chosen to... Okay, let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation.
Right. I'm speaking for them.
Back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest, Otumba Sunday Otunto, with us. Yes, you're going to talk.
So I understand that there's an agreement that has been signed and policies have been put in place that would ensure there's a regulated price increase across the power sector. That's twice every year, right? 6 months review. But and I know you're a private sector, the Nigerians are complaining because they feel like there is things are hitting them from, bills are hitting them from different sides. So these are the same Nigerians who are having to deal with scarcity of petrol. And even though you are celebrating those who have power, you have people in your band C, band D, band E that they don't have power, but the little power that they have, and many of them probably don't even have, they don't have prepaid meters, so they're getting estimated billing and they are buying petrol expensive, food is expensive, exactly. Then this is now happening to them. It feels like everybody is just trying to take whatever little they've gathered together, which is why there was a huge social media backlash. That where is the light that we're paying for? What is the commitment of the DisCos, the NARC, to people who don't have power, who still don't have prepaid meters and are being billed like this?
The last sentence I would disagree with. When you say I've been billed like this, those who don't have power are being billed. I do sympathize, understand the feeling of them where those who don't have power. I mentioned PIP, performance improvement. And I think what that is out, only by investment.
Okay, I'm sorry they can't hear you because you're...
Oh.
Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So you're going to respond to Tokwe's question.
Yes,
go ahead, please.
I was trying to talk about PIP, Performance Improvement Plan, which is just talking about the guideline for improved DisCos performance and market remittances obligation. Now, all of these are tied to a tariff, which means a tariff that will allow the DisCos to cover its cost of operations. But that's just saying that anywhere you hear, oh, our light has improved, that's a place where some investment has been made into equipment and things that will make it easy for the value chain from generation, transmission to distribution to ensure that there's light in that particular location. What we need to do is to expand this and give more to more people and more areas. And people need to just show understanding. Remember, food vendors or transporters, go and check. Even in bakeries, you buy bread, press it like this, just go, it go flat because inside the bread, they put air now because the cost of operation or cost of production has gone up. And like I said, DisCos cannot exist in a vacuum. Let us show understanding. And as for the regulators that are saddled with this job, we should commend them. They try their best to ensure that it doesn't get too hard. I'm looking at a Nigeria, and we're looking for a new government, hopefully. I'm looking at a Nigeria that by 2026, some of these tariff classes will start coming down because the more electricity we have, the more investment that has been done over time, it goes up, it stays the same, it starts coming down because the equipment are already there anyway. So that is what I want people to understand. We cannot punish Nigerians. We need you to patronize us. If we don't serve you well, you will not be happy to pay. I kept mentioning Magodo and some other people because they are happy to pay. They are paying because they are getting the service.
Hold on, sir.
But if I'm not serving you, you will not be willing to pay. And the complaint
there is no competitor now.
Exactly.
You see, that's the problem.
I don't have any option.
If the DisCos, it's a monopoly.
You have option.
There's no option.
Which option?
In the, what are the options?
Which option? There is no other generator.
No.
That's an option.
No.
No, you know it's not an option.
I'm doing option.
Okay, but
power from the grid is the cheapest. Yet we are complaining as Nigerians. The power you get from the grid is still the cheapest. Go and check. Your generator costs you 5 times more. Go and check.
But that is not competitor. Generator is not competitor. That means I am my own government. If I'm using my generator, that means I'm my own government. If I buy solar, that means I'm using my...
serving everybody in Lagos. So I can choose to say in my house...
Oh, that's coming. The market will get to the point where you can even use Abuja electricity while you are in Ikeja. I get your point on that.
My question I was going to ask you is because it is in your interest that you get money not just from Magodo, Omole, and all, from the masses.
That's correct.
That's the best interest. So what are you doing to ensure that those people that are in other communities that are probably not as organized as estates? So I'll say it's easier to approach estates and say, okay, XYZ estate, we can offer you electricity if you're willing to pay this. That's easier. But those who don't live in estates, those who live in communities, how are you reaching out to maybe the local governments, or what are you doing to see how they can get organized such that you can also provide them some kind of electricity that is more consistent?
What we're doing in conjunction with the federal government and other stakeholders in the sector, because as a distributor, I can only distribute what has been produced and transported to me. Okay. However, we're working together. You will have heard about Siemens program by federal government. That's about equipment. Okay. If you have the right equipment, the right size of equipment in the right places, and you have others linking up to it, once we are able to clean the network, invest more in the system, it will get everywhere. Okay? And let me not go without talking about the meter that she mentioned. There's an opportunity. There are two schemes on metering. There's the National Mass Metering Program, which is free of charge meters, and I know that nobody can tell me that those meters are available as I'm talking now. They were available. They finished. Maybe they are coming soon. But for now, the other option is the regulator has allowed the private meter manufacturers, third-party suppliers, to give you meter. If you need a meter, meters are available. You pay for those through your DisCos. So it's good for everybody to be metered. If you are metered, there won't be argument. But don't fall to the... some people who are circulating some fake news saying that MAP is well and live. Meter asset provider is voluntary. But once you need a meter, approach your DisCos that you want a meter under MAP. While you are waiting for the federal government free of charge one that has not come. Then you will be metered. Once you are metered, you'll be able to measure your consumption. That's on metering. But whether you have meter or not, if there's no electricity, your meter is not useful. You need to have electricity. What we are saying is that let us all work together to ensure that Nigeria has electricity. All this bulk fasting will not help.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me take this call from Egbeda. Let me take a call from Egbeda. I'll come back to you. Good morning,
You have your job, I have my job.
Oh, I'm so sorry for this.
I need to ask
you have your job, I have my job. My own job is to pay you. Once I pay you, I expect to have 24/7 hours electricity. I don't want to hear, you don't worry, it will come.
Okay. Now,
I don't want generator.
Let me
I want to be able to say, I want to sell this generator to...
Okay, wait.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Sir?
Take it easy.
I'm taking it easy.
Now,
diesel is killing me.
My job is to give you electricity. You say your job is to pay.
Yes.
That is working together. Okay? If I now point out to you, areas in some places in your area where they bypass all the time, where they steal energy.
Not everybody is responsible as any equity to pay.
But you know I know.
Yes.
Not you, not even your neighbor, but on your street, there are thieves. Because those things happen, those guys are not working with us. We are trying.
Send law enforcement.
I have a very
we need them to go to the train stations and also wait because we want to protect our students.
We Nigerians must tell ourselves the truth. We should not steal energy. But there's a question I want to ask you.
Ask me,
please. There is, I told Mariah said he's biopologist. I say he's not biopologist. I'm going to ask you that because some people are stealing, those of us that we are compliant are paying more. Because some people are that sir,
no.
Don't say that.
Let her finish her question.
Let me break it down.
Okay,
so because based on the analysis we had with somebody from the energy sector who said that this, if we release 1,000 megawatts just for fun of it to this Ikeja area, and they pay the first bill after the first month, and only 300 was paid for. It means that 700 was stolen within this area. So the next time, I would divide the consumption on the people that have paid. Then they also mentioned in these pathologies that Mariah claimed that I want you to break down that Shangisha is very close to Magodo, enjoying the same power that we are enjoying, but they're not paying the same bill we are paying. Why are they at enjoying power and they're not paying what we inside Magodo.
Thank you very much. Very good. We are 5 on this table.
Yes, sir.
As we were neighbors, 5 houses, 1 transformer. Out of the 5 of us, only Marian and Morayo have prepaid meter, have meters. 2 of them are metered. Or let's say 3 of us. 3 of us are metered. Yeni and Tope, you are not metered. And me, I'm metered in my house. Because I have a meter, prepaid meter. I now bypass 2 of my air conditioner. And Ikeja Electric didn't know about it. So I'm going to vend. I buy credit all the time. But I'm using some appliances like AC free of charge. What happened is that in your estimated billing, you are paying for me without you knowing, without the service provider knowing. Because the service provider is looking at the energy on that transformer for 5 houses. And these 3, they are paid through buying credits.
So whatever is left is...
Whatever is left goes to them. Hold on. Solution to that, the 5 need to be metered. We'll now see that from the meter on the transformer, they will now see that, they bought all their credits, but we're having a difference, the energy supplied. We'll now come and check the 5 premises, praying that Yeni will not unleash her dogs on us. Saying, don't come here, I have to pay meter. No, we must enter that compound and check. By the time we check the 5, you'll find out that Odunton has been stealing. And the law will take its course. Okay. That's number 1. Shangisha and the other one. The other neighborhood. There's a place called Sun City Estate in Abuja. And the neighborhood, the next estate, Sun City. The other one, Galadima, I'm sure Miriam will know that. Galadima, same energy, same tariff. Not different tariff.
Same tariff.
Let me correct that, not different tariff. But non-payment is very high, energy theft is very high. So every time we go there and try to bring them down, that is, disconnect them, people erupt, violent, beating our staff, and the rich people in Sun City Estate will say, why are you doing that? It's wicked. But you are paying. These other people are not paying. Even the other estates near Sun City, where there are more energy theft than Sun City. So it's about Nigerians, about we. So when I talk about working together, collaboration, cooperation, what I'm saying is that if you see something in your area, say something. Then we'll take action. So that you can have...
Excuse me, if I say something, and then you go there and they unleash their dogs on you, then you will say, Mariah will say, is this same security that you want to chase train? Is this same security? What is the solution?
The solution
What do you have the security that you will use?
Yes.
Because you can actually investigate and see who is stealing. Because if me, I go and enter somebody's house and they beat me,
you don't need
I
to
don't have
somebody,
security
you need
to follow me.
Information that you know.
Which information? I don't have any information.
It doesn't concern me.
I don't have information.
Agreed.
If you see something, say something. Give me information.
There's a call from Magodo that I wanted to take before I come to Mariam.
I don't have...
Hello, good morning. Are you still there? I think we lost that call. Oh, I do apologize. Go ahead, sir, please.
Yes, thank you for having me. The dishonesty of the DisCos is very appalling. Even the Magodo that he's talking about, an organized estate.
Yeah.
What they have done is that the meters are configured in such a way that when they say they are selling 1 kilowatt to you, they're actually selling like 75% of that for one. So like you are doing when you get to the filling station, when you say you pay for 25 liters, meanwhile you are getting 17 liters. That is exactly what they are doing. Now, I also believe that a responsible DisCo should be interested in metering everybody, not forcing people to go and buy meters, not waiting till people get meters. You should be interested in metering everybody because you are cheating people. That is why you do not care whether you are metered or not. We will bill you based on the transformer, whether you use light or not.
Okay.
You must pay.
Thank you, Deji. Those are 2 things you have said. Yes, please. 2 things.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to respond robustly because Oga spoke English, which gives me the impression that Oga is a well-educated person. If a call was made by a mechanic, I will answer in a different way. Let me say this. Magodo, we call it willing buyer, willing seller arrangement. a contractual dealing whereby the DisCos is willing to supply you premium. That's what they use. I don't know whether Oga is a civil servant too. If they say premium, it means that you are paying more than normal. Nobody is giving you wrong dishonesty, no, or programming anything, no. You know what you are paying for, and you're getting the service that you're paying for. You cannot expect that you'll be paying the same thing in Magodo as somebody across the road, Alakpere, okay? Because the guy in Alakpere is not getting what you are getting. So you can't eat your cake and have it. You are a big man, but you want to still want the keke napep driver to be paying the same thing as you, whereas in your house, you have all the appliances of the world. I'm sorry, let us understand this. To get more, we must be willing to pay more. I'm just begging. And I understand the frustration. I know that you are not leaking it with fuel and everything. That has nothing to do with us. We all have to also pay the gas suppliers. Let us look at the market, the cost of things, cost of production, cost of operation. Sum it up now.
But the surrounding community around Magodo, for example, gets exactly the same electricity.
Whoever gets what they get
is a benefit.
You see, when you say surrounding,
yes,
there is improvement everywhere.
Yes.
And most places. Even where the supply has been low, it is better than last year.
Okay.
In YK's house today, the supply is better than last year. The diesel cost has gone up. That's why you don't understand the issue of the quantity. Now, the surrounding areas, the supply has got better, but the special arrangement in Magodo is better than surrounding areas. That's what I'm saying. When I mention premium service, it is premium. And you cannot go on a plane and you take a first class, and you're now saying that the person in premium economy is the same thing as you. Oga, go to the back seat now.
Okay, let me take this call. I have a call that'll come to you. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
I need to read some...
Hello, you're there. You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really recommend Ikeja Electric for the good job they are doing. But I have one issue. In my father's house now, the bills they are bringing, upstairs they are bringing 100,000. Downstairs they are bringing 100,000. That accumulates in a month 200,000. Even the house rent is not up to the NEPA bill they are bringing. The tenants are backing out. Even the last tenant that backed out, I purposely put there and arrest this man. That okay, even if you are not paying the rent, pay this NEPA bill. I've been to NEPA because I stay in the same area. In my house now, I have a meter. When I notice that, okay, I'm consuming this week, I have to switch to solar and leave my AC alone on NEPA. So, this thing, I've been to Ikeja Electric, I've been to Abdul-Azeez, even though people there, they said, okay, we should apply for prepaid meter. This prepaid meter has been going on for 1 year. I've applied for MAP. They're still not giving us bill to go and pay and get this prepaid meter. Please, what can you do for us? Or if you have anybody I can go and get a phone or Abdul-Azeez.
All right, thank you, sir.
I will do that.
Thank you very much, sir. A caller like you is certainly a patriotic and a good Nigerian, because you are honest. You started by commending the Ikeja Electric. You didn't just condemn flatly like some people. What I want to say, first, my apologies. We have inefficiencies too in our system, because they are Nigerians. Until we go and bring Malaika or Angel. Yes, how can somebody apply for meter on that map and somebody somewhere is not doing what they are supposed to be doing? Can you please call the studio? I will leave my number. I will personally, sir, come into this and ensure that something is done at Ikeja. Okay. I apologize. There's no excuse for inefficiency.
Let me take one question from Mariam, because we have to wrap up.
Well done for that.
Thank you. At the point, I thought you were running for election, but let's go. I just would like you to clarify some things. You know, there are some things we say, and as Mariam will say, bare apologies, so that we're not caught in that type of conversation. Is there a way that our meters can be configured in a way that it would, like, cheat us out of what we're supposed to be paying? Is there a way that that can happen? Is there any loophole that that is possible?
Not that I know of. Let me tell you why I say so.
Or Nigerian factor?
It will be criminal. Well, when you talk about Nigerian factor, you are talking about negativity. You are talking about people, you are talking about rogues, people doing things that they are not supposed to be doing. Meters are programmed and configured and nobody would target Mariah and say, let us configure her own differently. The meter that's applied to all customers are done similarly, and in the case of tariff classes programmed to fit into your tariff class. So they cannot now do something to increase your own and reduce my own. We are neighbors next door. That's not possible. Somebody has asked me before, that was in Kano, that he believed that that meter is running too fast. Then I now asked him to do more investigation. The gentleman, the Alhaji, called me over 2 months later to say that, indeed, in his boys' quarter, his houseboys were inviting outsiders to come and iron clothes. They have more than 5 iron there. You see, when people don't manage electricity, your unit will just be going like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the truth.
So, for example,
So if it cannot be done individually, can it be done?
Somebody was saying, let me ask you.
That would be criminal. It can
Somebody
be,
was saying, I want to ask you a
computer.
question with what Mariam said. So, for example, if I manipulate your meter, is the money coming to my pocket? Because why would I manipulate? I want to understand how people can manipulate. Because when you go for a pump, when you go to buy fuel, I can manipulate because I know that I can remove the money directly and I can pay. You know how you can manipulate the
meter
pump?
setting, yeah.
So that you as an attendant can take out money for yourself, manipulate the figures. But for meters,
where does the money go?
How will the money? How would you manipulate it?
What I've heard is people that they had their old meters replaced, prepaid meters, old prepaid meters. They were spending at 50,000 naira per month. Okay. When they replaced the old meters with new meters, same consumption, controlling everything, suddenly it's like almost 15,000 naira difference. So that's why some people say they don't want to change their old prepaid meters.
Oh, we will have to change them. Thank you very much. That's a very good question. Meters have lifespan. Every meter, after 10 years, the integrity of that meter is in question.
It's not done 10 years.
When have we started?
Let me repeat now. The ones she's talking about are obsolete meters. Because they are obsolete, they will now be either too slow or too fast. In most cases, they are always, 90% of the time, they are always too slow. When they now bring an accurate meter that will measure things accurately, to now be giving them accurate calculation, they will now be too fast. Sorry, madam. Meters that are obsolete need to be changed. And if it's any meter that is black in color, that's even one of the way of knowing. If your meter is black in color, listeners, your meter, if it's black in color like me, as I'm black like this, that meter is obsolete.
That's finished.
Your meter should be,
we have to wrap up.
Maybe like Mariah's color.
Omobola Oguntayo says, at Igondo, we pay 78 naira per unit. This is outrageous. Meg Jacobs.
And what is that?
Jacob says, why are they holding back the government-free prepaid meters, making it very difficult for poor Nigerians to have access to prepaid meters? It is so frustrating.
Please, check it for us.
Yes.
Maybe it's in a
no.
state.
Maybe it's banned.
What I'm even trying to do is...
What banned?
Then, sorry.
We have to run, no, we don't have any much time.
One more question quickly. Why monitor consumption from transformers? There should be ways of knowing how much electricity is consumed in every house. Don't tell me technology is not available. Okay,
we have to wrap up. I think we have to bring it back. We've run out of time. But I think, well, you've told us that you send us this, you email us the various tariffs, so we know, and we have to understand that this is going to happen for 5 years.
And when I send
every
it to
6
you,
months, there'll be a review.
Differentiated from special bilateral agreements, premium service, willing buyer, willing seller. It's different from this one.
All right, that's all we can take. Thank you very much for clarifying. So according to Otumba Sunday Oduntan, there was no increase in tariff. What was agreed by the MYTO 2022 was that for 5 years, there will be a 6-month increment across, well, review. Let me not say increment, review. Because it can be reviewed downwards or upwards, depending on it. But that's what has been agreed with civil society and all the various stakeholders at the meeting that they had last year.
In Nigeria,
and something we should expect.
May 4.
All right. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's Tuesday, and we're going to be having our health segment. We're speaking with a renowned medical and seasoned administrator, Dr. Jide Idris. He'll be discussing how we can reposition our ailing health sector. You can join the conversation on 08127053687 or tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweet. Good morning, Dr. Idris.
Good morning, Muriah.
Thanks for joining us this morning. So, we're discussing repositioning our health sector, and the reason why we're discussing this morning is because campaigns are here and elections around the corner, and many of our candidates are trying to address what Nigerians need across various sectors, one of which is the health. And one of the things I just observed in recent times is the frequent migration of skilled labor, some of which are doctors and nurses, to different countries across the world. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you think whoever becomes president should address and stop this and nip it in the bud before it gets completely out of hand?
Well, to me and to some of us here, this migration is a major problem. If you look at the health workforce nationally, we have a bit of a challenge. One, we don't have the number. They're totally inadequate. Two, the distribution is poor. And three, the production, that is, production of doctors, nurses, laboratory technicians, also poor. The management of these human resources, again, we still have a lot of work to do. All this now being compounded by brain drain. So there must be a way for any government coming in to be able to retain this health workforce. We need to train more. And of course, we need to address the welfare issues of all the health workers in our system. And that is why, again, that all the candidates we have now have their various manifestos. Our role is to look at the manifestos and see which ones are beneficial to the people of Nigeria.
Right.
Or which one can provide that health system, health sector, health for the people.
Okay.
Okay. Doctor, you know, as with politicians, there's a lot that they would say on paper. But if you could help us as citizens to decipher some of these promises, that's in the reality in which they would come to fruition. So it's one thing to say we'll provide that, but what sort of things should we pay attention? What sort of the promises? What should we pay attention to that would say to Nigerians, okay, this is someone that is realistically looking for how to improve the health sector?
I've lost you. Hello?
Yeah, okay, so I want to say it, go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying that politicians will make many promises, but we're learning that there's a process in which these promises can come into fruition. So in the health sector, you can just say, I'll build more hospitals, build more this. But what I'm saying is politicians can also tell us the process. And for you who's been in the health sector, you can look at a manifesto and say, okay, from the way this politician has laid it out, this is what is realistically possible. So we are not swayed by just empty promises.
Well, to answer that question, I just look at what will be the goal of the health system. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
What will be the goal of the health system? First of all, no matter what they say, what we want to look at is that how will those promises benefit the people? That is, how can those promises influence the status, the health status of our people? How can we reduce the number of children dying at very early ages? How can we reduce the number of pregnant women dying during pregnancy? Or how can we ensure safe delivery? You know, those are the things we need to look at from the manifesto. Secondly, how can they deal with the poor? How will the poor be able to access the services? Because this is one thing here we know in this system here, that a lot of people pay out of pocket. And there are so many poor people around now. If they don't have money, you can't access service. And of course, that's compounded poverty level. So what kind of program do they have that can help the poor or the vulnerable? Are you going to provide them with financial stability or financial support so that they can access those services? And thirdly, how satisfied will the people be when they will visit our hospitals? Are we treating their health or are we just treating their illnesses? These are the two things we need to look at. And again, there are so many things again. The governments need to show the will and commitment to addressing this. And in showing that will, how will they make doses accessible to the people? How will they make doses available to the people? And you need to talk of the infrastructure they want to build. You need to talk of how they're going to staff these places, how they're going to equip them, how they're going to finance the whole system entirely, how they're going to educate the people, and what kind of things are they bringing in to be able to provide those services that are promising the people. Take for instance now, the health insurance scheme. There are so many poor people here who cannot have access. These are the kind of things, again, government has to do to support these poor people. How can they give them incentives so that they can access this care? There's so many things like that. And these are the things, again, we in the health sector need to look at. What kind of leadership are they going to provide? What kind of quality of service will they provide? What is the basis? They have to address the primary healthcare system. What are they going to do and how are they going to do that? The workforce issue, how are they going to provide those services, those poor people, the workers, to be able to provide those services in those facilities?
Yes, sir, we get these questions. We actually all know these questions a lot. These are questions we are all asking every day. What we really need is what advice would you give some of these candidates to do? Let's also throw in our
Let me ask it this way. When we see a lot of politicians talk about what they want to do in the health sector, for many people, it is borrowing ideas from developed countries that have better structure. But we are dealing with a country where the majority are poor and they have no access to primary health care, and many of them patronize more traditionalists and chemists to access basic health care. So I would like you to give innovative approach that you believe will help solve our unique problems in our own way. Thank you, sir.
Okay, like you rightly said again, we can't take systems from outside of our nation here to our country. We need to look within. What are those determinants of health in our system? We have the issue of culture, tradition. Education, agriculture, things like that. So,
bless you.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
So we need to look at what they call social determinants in our system here. What are those factors in our system that can help our people? So one of them is education of the people. We need to educate them on what to do. We need to change their lifestyles. And without their lifestyle, they need to know how to seek help, where to go to. And they must have the trust in the government here. Are the facilities available? If they are available, can they access those things? They are basic things. So they need to know how far away do they need to walk to the nearest health facility. When they get to those facilities, are there staff to attend to them? Will they be comfortable with what they receive? Are the staff very, very, what do you call it? Are the staff very compassionate with these people? Do they show them what to do? Do they educate them? So, and again, what will be the budget by government? What amount of money are they pumping to this system? Over the years, we've noticed that a lot of, there hasn't been any serious investment in the system. What amount of money are they going to provide? How do they want to raise this money? So that people here who don't have money can have access to these funds, or they have the support by government. If they go to a facility What kind of staff do they have? Do they have doctors? Do they have nurses? Do they have those people there? You know, what kind of technology can they see? Basic technology. Do people actually understand what they, you know?
All right, let me throw a few more questions in for you. Guess what? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what advice would you give the governments? They are very, like, recently, the Kogi governor just commissioned a hospital, a big hospital, massive. And I'm wondering, does he really have the personnel to man that hospital? Or is it just going to be a white elephant, like when Akpabio built that hospital, and then when he had the accident, he went abroad? What advice would you give to these governments or state governments that actually go and build these white elephants and there's no one inside?
Yeah. First of all, the government must know the needs of the people. The needs are very, very basic. There's no need in building white elephant when the people cannot access the very simple primary care business. The kind of service they require basic services. What knowledge do they have? The basic problems they have in the society there, malaria, respiratory disease problems. How do they, you know, their lifestyles? You know, what should they do? What kind of behavior do they need to do?
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest, Dr. Idris. Sir, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
So you are the former Commissioner for Health, Lagos State. You worked under Fashola. You also worked under Ambode. From your experience in Lagos State especially, what would you think the first 100 days should look like for whoever it is becomes president when it comes to the health sector? What's that first thing that needs immediate attention, you think, from your experience?
Well, from my experience, I think the government needs to ensure that a certain proportion of the population will have access to healthcare service. We say, look at those facilities available, upgrade some of them, renovate some of them, recruit more staff, and provide the funding, set up the health insurance scheme for the system, get increased coverage of that scheme, because I know some of these have started again, but again, increase the coverage of this scheme to cover the poor people, more poor people, to have access to this thing. Basically, access must be addressed, the quality of care must be addressed, and the satisfaction of patients must be addressed. And to improve access, more facilities need to be made operational, more workers need to be employed to be able to work in those facilities.
Right.
And they must be able to monitor the progress or how people feel about the system.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you because we wanted to just learn a few things from you, especially as we are reading and hearing about different people's manifestos. And health is one sector many forget to actually ask about. So it was important for us to get a few tips from you, which we have already. Thank you, sir, for joining us this morning. We appreciate your input.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So now, what are your thoughts on... let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're discussing health sector, what we'd like to see as the candidates are campaigning on health. And we have spoken to former Commissioner of Lagos for Health in Lagos State. He was able to give us some ideas. But let me come to the ladies. What are your thoughts? What's that thing you think anybody that becomes president tomorrow should deal with when it comes to health?
I think that it's easy to, build infrastructure. It's easy to build the big ones and put them in big cities where everyone can point out and say, but the issue of Nigeria really is that we have a huge population of people who live outside this big city, who have little to no education, little to no access to health facilities. And, I always question when people come to run for different kinds of offices, especially at the federal level, like if they understand Nigeria and its diversity and its difference, not only in culture, but also in the right word, topography, the geographical way it's, done. Like in the north, you have a small community of villages of people, and before you see another group of people or community, you have to go through, you have to drive, quite a distance. And sometimes you find that some of these people in one community, it takes them quite a distance to get to health facilities. So we have to look at the grassroots. We need to look at how to make sure that they find, even if it's basic primary health care, easily accessible to them. We need to put in more work at the grassroots. I know that politically it may not look good on paper because you cannot, people prefer to point out the big infrastructural projects, but if we don't help our people at that grassroots, that's when we will not see the growth that will come from that level to the federal level, put it that way.
I heavily agree with you, Miriam, because that is the problem. We play to the gallery in this country too much, like this big hospital that everybody is commissioning, and why? Why, when the ordinary Kogi man will not have access to that hospital? Why? Start from the grassroots. Start from up to down, not down, down to up, not up to down. Start to lift people up. And then you will start to see the change, this change that we are looking for in Nigeria. That's when that change will come. When you start going to... Look, I will give you an example. On New Year's Eve every year, I always have this traffic control because our area is jam-packed. So I hire boys, and I pay them well, and they control. So that place, there's never traffic. Or it's just very, everybody gets to where they're going. Because before, you will spend your New Year inside the traffic. Wow. And it is so someone came to our house on that New Year's Eve and said, that place, there was some traffic people there. I said, oh, the Alagbole traffic control. I said, yes. I said, those are my boys. Hey, if things like this will work. So if people just pay attention to those small details.
Makes a whole lot of difference. Mike, talk about your own suggestion for you.
For me, I hear YK is about taking ownership. I hear you and I hear taking responsibility. Nigerians taking responsibility to make Nigeria work for Nigerians. But I also feel like there are many Nigerians that have no idea what taking responsibility would look like. There are many Nigerians that, based on how they've been brought up, it's a case of every option they turn to will be a negative option because that's the only thing they've seen. So the expectation is that for somebody to contest to be a leader, it means you have a vision of a better country for your people. And bringing it down, which is a question I asked the former commissioner, that what are the innovative solutions that can be homegrown for the people within the villages so that those that are in the riverine area, I don't want to hear there is no longer a campaign to say you want to build hospitals. We don't need you to build hospitals. If we get to the hospital and there's no blood, or we get to the hospital and there's no syringe, and people will still die because no doctor can take out the gunshots, the bullets in time. It's not about the facility. It's about the quality of care that your citizens get to receive anywhere around. So I want our candidates and aspirants to start talking about the fact that we are going to improve quality of the quality of life that the doctors and nurses get, so that they will be inspired to work better. We are going to ensure that there will be doctors that are in every riverine area that will be accommodation will be provided for them so that they'll be able to provide, not that building anything. Yeah. They'll be paid well, so they will stay in the, I can take a doctor to somewhere in Zamfara that I know you might be coming from a city, but you are happy because you are there, you're able to render services to people within that place. Innovation, yes.
That was one of my 3 things. So I have 3 things I wanted to tell whoever comes in, runs the country. Number 1, insurance. You have to, people must have access to health. Nobody pays for health 100%. They always have some kind of insurance that helps around the world. In Nigeria, we try to have the NHIS so that we have, but unfortunately, the Nigerian factor, we the people are also embezzling here, and they were hearing stories of this the money not getting to the providers. That's the doctors. Doctors are complaining. So there are private insurance companies here and there, but whoever comes in must find a way to ensure that the insurance policy works and the money gets to the doctor so they are well paid so they can treat treat us as people. That's number 1. Number 2, whoever becomes president must find a scheme to bring back Nigerian doctors around the globe. Many of them have reached retirement age. They're in their 50s, 60s. Some of them are ready to come back home. They're really tired of the system there. They want to come home. So create an environment to attract them home, because you can't stop doctors from leaving. It's impossible. But those who have lived there 30 years, 25 years, they've had a family, their children are in universities, they're no more living the American dream. They want to come and now create a Nigerian dream. Those are the ones you should attract. Find them. There are lots of them. There are thousands. And they don't want to retire there. They want to come home, to bring them home, help them, let them train those we have here in Nigeria, and let them and give them the enabling environment to do what they can do. That's number 2. Number 3, what you just said. A lot of doctors, I know that those doctors abroad. If I have family who are doctors, that if they decide to go to the villages, somewhere in one village that nobody will see you, you get much more money. Yeah. Because it's their incentives. They attract you because they want you doctors in those inner-nose communities. They need it. Same way here. If you need, let us give higher incentives, more money to doctors who are going to those communities that lack proper healthcare facility, and equip those places. We don't know the big structures. So if you come and tell us we want to build hospital, that's what we're looking for. Yeah. No matter how small it is, it's a 4-corner structure. Make sure there's amenities, make sure there's equipment, make sure there are trained workers, health workers. Just make sure that there's access to health. So I think that's what Nigerians want to see. There's data available. Yeah. Use the data to work. Don't just say, we're trying to assure you, we are assuring. And please, politicians, stop using, I will assure you. Remove that word. We will ensure from your dictionary. What's the other one they use a lot?
I assure you.
I assure you. There's another one they always use.
We are working on it.
God bless you. Please, remove those phrases from your vocabulary. Just so we are done with it. You know, tell us we are tired. Don't tell us we are working on it. I can assure you.
Fresh thinking. Yeah, fresh thinking. We need that, because just at this table, we've had a few people who have brought on ideas that we think this will be fantastic, giving our own unique situations. Yeah. We're talking mobile clinics. We're talking phones that are able to take some of the data, and a doctor somewhere can at least give you basic treatments. Exactly. So when we sit down at a table
to discuss health sector, in England, during the COVID, the doctors were not seeing you. They were talking to you on the phone and treating you,
technology.
You know, that's... But I was also going to say, I know a lot of doctors who have tried to come home and they have been frustrated by the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they just go back, because when a system doesn't work, it doesn't work.
That's true. So that's why we need to deliberately create a system, a scheme that is created for them. They know that once I come and apply this, I will get a house, I will get this amount of revenue, this is what I'll be, something that gives them...
But the doctor that has lived in America, if I say he should please enter one of the villages in Jalingo,
they'll be happy to. They're the ones that would want to, because they've seen the life, they've lived, they've had their children at university, they're done. They've lived life already. If
you're paying them well, and if you are ensuring their security...
There's nothing that Nigerians give them that they don't already get.
People want to live in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt.
The same mentality that when you live abroad, you come back home and you're like, I want to live with my people. I want to stay in the villages. You want to come and stay. When Nigerian sun hits you, you have to find yourself back to Ikoyi. But you come in, my people, Nigerians and Africans, we're here together.
But you see, by moving somebody to a village, you will ensure that you start to do that village up.
Yeah.
So that village too will get a better life.
So the
development will start from there. Because you you know, like when they used to do the village headmaster, the headmaster's house was always the nice house.
Ecosystem starts to build around that.
Everything would start to build around it.
We have to wrap up. Do we have any comments? We have to wrap up. I think we're running out of time. Let me see if I have any interesting comments here from anybody. Nothing major. All right. That is all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.